Salakia, this is part two. Yeah, this is part two of the Wars and Rumors of Wars, June the 4th, 2026, on this Thursday night. Seemed like something was wrong with the phone. I don't know why it's acting up like that. So, yeah, back to what I was saying. It says, yep, it says, however, the Arkansas Republican says that the House was confronted with a flawed, outdated measure that actually calls for a less funding for Ukraine security assistance compared to what Congress has agreed to as a part of the shared defense policy. In another session that could lead a decrease in defense spending by some NATO members, he warned Rep. Brian Mass, the chairman of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, said that believed the bill was cudgel the fight against President Trump. This bill, is my opinion, is an unserious bill that was crafted basically a year and a half ago. Master Florida Republican said. Rep. John Bacon, Republican of Nebraska, broke with most of his Republicans' colleagues in voicing support for the measure. Are we going to stand with good or are we stand with evil? That's what this is about tonight, he said. It says in the end, 18 Republicans and 207 Democrats and one independent vote for the bill. Democratic Republican Rep. Ilhan Omar joined with the 194 Republican voting against it. Lawmakers want to send a message. Supporters are hopeful that the House pass of the bill, a Ukrainian bill, would put pressure on the Senate to do the same. But they also know that Senate is likely won't go along unless Trump endorses the bill. It says it's probably not going to get to 60 votes in the Senate, but we're going to be hopefully force the Senate to address the issue. It says Rep. Brian Fitzpatrick, Republican of Pennsylvania, who signed the bill, discharged the petition, and voted for the bill, is going to send a great message to the soldiers of Ukraine. He says the vote will also send a message to Putin that we do have pulse here, that we do care about the Ukraine, and that we are going to utilize our authority to help them. As the war has dragged on, it's gotten more difficult for supporters of Ukraine and Congress to provide an additional financial support to help Ukraine defend itself. The U.S. has approved a $195 billion for the Ukrainian response, according to the latest quarterly expert general report for the operational Atlantic Reserve, and with roughly a quarter of that was going to replenish weapons stockpiles for the U.S. military. The last major legislation designed to bolster the Ukrainian response occurred in April 2024, though moderate amounts have been since included in annual appropriating bills. Republicans leaders try to stop the bill. It's the book of Mark, the third chapter. Then I'm gonna get to that Matthew's sixth chapter. Matthew's 24 verse 6. This is Mark chapter 3 verse 24. It says, and if a kingdom be divided, except the kingdom not stand. Right, so if a kingdom be divided, except the kingdom not stand, you got the liberals versus the conservatives being divided on certain things. Some things they might agree upon, and other things they might not agree upon. And then bring up that Matthew's 24th chapter. As they pass a bill to help out the Ukrainians, they said it's an estimated bill of $1 billion in military aid assistance, while the Russia-Ukraine situation continues to intensify. This is the book of Matthew 24 verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? As we're hearing wars and rumors of wars with the intensifying Russia-Ukraine situation. It says, see that you be not in trouble for all these things, must for to come to pass, but then it's not yet, right? So it's going to come to pass, but not in the edges yet. Matthew 24 verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, right? Nation against nation, Russia versus Ukraine. Hezbollah versus the Israel Defense Force, despite the fact they agreed to a ceasefire deal. But you got the leader of Hezbollah saying that potentially they might escalate tensions between Hezbollah if if Israel Defense Force and its allies potentially might strike Lebanon and Beirut, so they're gonna have to respond back if necessary. This is for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, right? Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Even though it's been up and down, back and forth, there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, right along with it. It's the book of Luke 21 and verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun. It says, Salaki, there shall be signs in the sun, the moon, and stars, and upon the earth disgressive nations will perplex see which one, right as we're seeing. It says, Kim Jong-un visit nuclear, hold on, spell this right, nuclear site. Yep, this is from the NPR. It says, this is from CNN. It says, Kim Jong-un expect new nuclear plant plans, exponential weapons production ramping up. Right, so that shows you that Joel the third chapter, like the weeks have grown. So we're seeing Kim Jong-un throughout the years and recently building up this nuclear capability of the ongoing tension that they have against South Korea and Japan. Because last week you had Kim Jong-un was firing off one of his AI missiles, what you call AI warfare, and then the recent missile strikes that he did consistently for the past 2.5 months over at the shores of Korea, and over there, the Korean Peninsula, and over there in the eastern shores of Japan. It says, this is from CNN, updated 20 hours ago, and it reads, it says, Kim Jong-un expects a new nuclear plans, exponential weapons production ramp up. It says, expected a new plant that makes weapon upgrades nuclear materials on Wednesday, said Pyongyang plans to beef up the state's nuclear force at a exponential expanding rate, if I pronounce that right. It says, according to the report from the state-run media, North Korea leader says that the country has more than double its capacity to produce a weapons-grade nuclear materials in the past 5 years, and that the new plant that will help strengthen its nuclear war deterrent. It says, according to the report, that the Korean Central News Agency's KCNA, it says Kim instituted the push for more nuclear weapons under a 5-year plan that was implemented after a denuclearization talks with the United States, including 3 meetings with the president, U.S. President Donald Trump, during his first term, and its failure. It says news of the new North Korean plans comes as Washington is trying to strike a deal to end the month-old U.S.-Israeli war with Iran and to get Tehran to give up nuclear materials that it could develop into nuclear weapons. North Korea already have enough nuclear material up to 90 warheads, and it's believed to have assembled around 50, according to the Congressional Research Service reported from March. The International Atomic Energy Agency reported in March that North Korea has at least 2 active nuclear enrichment plants, one in Yongbyon and another in Kangsong, if I pronounced that right. The agency says it was monitoring the construction of a new building at the Yongbyon, which is dimensions and infrastructure, including power supply and cooling capacity, similar to the Kangsong and enrichment facilities. The new building is internally complete and internal fitting is likely underway, the IEA report says. It's the book of Joel. This is book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, Joel 3, verse 10. It says, beat your plowshares and the swords and the pony hooks into spears and let the weak sounds grown. Right, so North Korea building up their nuclear capability, and all other nations that's allies with North Korea, building up their nuclear capability. That's why you still got tensions are heating up between China and Taiwan. You still got North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, and the United States that's heating up. And you still got the Russia-Ukraine situation that's still intensifying as well too. And these are armies and nations that's allies with China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, building up their nuclear capability. Now we're starting to see let the weak sound strong. As it says again from CNN.com, Kim Jong-un expects a new nuclear plant and plans weapons production ramp up, right, upgrading his nuclear capability. This is Joel, go up a verse, Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, right? The Gentiles are the armies of the nations. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty man. Let all the men in war draw near. Now, despite the fact Trump was talking about progress is going well with the Lebanon-Israel situation, and progress is going well with the the Iran-United States situation, but potentially the war might be over, according to Trump and Marco Rubio. So we're going to see how that plays out. But in the meantime, you're still going to see nuclear tensions still heating up over there in Western Asia. You're still going to be seeing different nuclear escalations and tensions are heating up in different places around the world. That's why it says, it's that Jeremiah 51, verse 46. This is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 46. Because what's that, Nero 47? His next objective is trying to target the Cuban president over there. That's why he's been using these economical sanctions, these oil sanctions, these economical sanctions on Cuba and their allies as well too. Because Russia is still going to be allies to Cuba. While this Trump administration is trying to push pressure on the Cubans, to put pressure on a regime change, trying to get the president of Cuba out of office. What's this? Most likely that's not going to happen. Now they was able to do it with Maduro, but with Cuba, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, because you got Russia backing them up, and these other allies are backing them up as well too, especially from an economical perspective and from a military perspective as well too. And definitely, especially Russia, because Russia is going to be a guard unto them, like I said, since you get the 38th chapter. It says, Jeremiah 51, verse 46, it says, "Unleash your heart faint, right heart your mind. You fear for the woman that should be heard in the land. And a rumor should come both 1 year, after that, another year should come a rumor, by its land ruler gets ruled." Right, and that's what we're seeing. So with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying of the Wars and Rumors of Wars, June the 4th, 2026, on this Thursday afternoon. So this was part 2, what I left off at part 1. So hopefully this was edifying. And with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Mukakadash, and the Heavenly Father. But your name is Yahweh, and His unbegotten Son, Ba'Hashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the logical holy tongue. And I said Barakatham to the elders and apostles, wa Akim Akwaf. Till next time, I would say Kwame Asherallah and the Ball. Shalom.